Welcome to Humanity Unboxed. Good morning, Michael. I love
Good
your ring.
morning.
Great to see you as always.
Good. Yeah.
We are on the last day of June, so we kind of just going into the next season almost. Well, in the Wisdom Seekers, it's the next season. It's the art of mastery, and today we're still talking about value though. So we're going to kind of look at value, human value, as the truest value.
hmm
There is no other value though, really, in my mind. I don't know. Maybe I'm
Uh, how do you mean it? In what? How contextually you mean it? I'm always looking at the context where
yeah,
there's no other value. I mean, there's a lot of other values. I mean, from nature, a cat has a value, an
yeah,
animal has a value,
yeah,
a horse has a value.
yeah.
And,
But it's only got value because we've made sense of it or we've connected to it through our
living beings
humanness.
are
We
living beings.
recognize the
The
value.
living beings, the soul's connection.
Yeah,
So it's a soul connection.
yeah. Which isn't immeasurable. It's not a system. It's not it's a felt sense of connection,
Yeah.
um, where the other things are checklists and whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's implied value that's been created not through.
Has to be sold, has to be
Yeah,
and ultimately has to be able to be sold. So if you are human centric and you are very good in a system relevant task, accounting, right,
mm,
you have value for the system because they say accounting should cost us 1%, 2%, 5%, and so that's what accountant can get. But if
yeah,
your accountant says, if I say I want 50%, then the system relevance says no, you're not, you can't get 50. We are not, it's all very finite, we cannot spend more than whatever the history of systems told us that
yeah.
accounting should cost. So it's but the problem is, which you and I listen to Rick Rubin's things, this stuff,
Yeah.
the value is always diminished. So even if they pay you not the 50%, you in a year that money is less worth. In a year what you earned as
Mm.
well as what they give you is less worth. And this is this is the stuff. So people give more and more and more, and this is why you have so many uh, revolutions, and people get
Mm.
upset and anger and rage, because you constantly get less. All you are is time and space, and you get less and less and less and less, because the time and space that you have to contribute to humanity is always going to go less. It's never go more.
But now, okay, so I'm going to try and find the words here because, this is where AI comes in, right? So now
Yeah,
AI comes in and AI can do certain things that are linear, that
yeah.
can open up,
Better than any human. Better than
that,
any
yeah,
human. Yeah,
that can open the human experience to be more of the creative species, as
yeah.
you
It's
would
just a
say,
tool.
collaborative creative
Like,
species.
you can't
But
cut that. You can't cut. You need a knife to cut that. You
yeah,
can't just say, oh, I wanna. Every knife cuts better than a human can cut.
yes. So, but now, just because you just triggered me with your,
Go
everybody
ahead. Go
gets
ahead.
less. So, if there's now a system which is
Yeah,
AI that can fulfill certain functions like accountancy, for
yeah.
example, um, now it frees up that human to be more creative. But now there's still that, I don't know how to
It's a
put this
box. There's
into,
a box. You
there's
cannot.
still a box, yeah, and
Yeah.
there's
So
he can't be free because he's got to be in that box for him to have value for the system, to earn money. So the
I would say
money,
he can't be what he is. He cannot be the one of one, and he cannot ex, express. It's not like the freedom of expression. The expression of creativity. So the AI takes away, and then it's okay. Great, now AI does it, but I'm hitting the wall of the box. I can't do
yeah,
anything else. So
yeah,
I'm forced to be stagnant, which is
mm,
death. It's non-existence. and I'm just stagnant, and the human doesn't evolve, doesn't create, doesn't co-create, doesn't. So we're just
So
stuck in
become a
that
background
box.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but in that scenario, there is no expression of value. The
Yeah.
expression is the value,
Yeah.
not the fulfilling of the role, or
Yeah.
being the
Yeah.
productive accountant. I don't know why we're using accountant necessarily, I suppose.
I did.
Um,
I did.
okay, you
I
did
did.
it. But the human, say the accountant's name is John.
Yeah.
John might also be a poet,
Yeah.
but he can't do poetry because there's no system feedback on, you know,
He
uh,
can experience his own expression. The
yes,
experience of
if he
his
has
own.
time and
Yeah.
space to do so,
Yeah.
because he doesn't have time and space to do so because he has to fulfill this role
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like we make ourselves that. That's what I told you before. We're afraid of dying. We're afraid of living. So
Mm.
that is and that's the death. That's the rebellion against each other. We use our creativity to hurt each other, not to build each other up. But
Yeah.
because we're unconscious. If we were conscious, because you and I don't put each other down, but
Mm.
once you're aware, then you can actually build each other up. And that's so sad, that
Mm.
we are not aware of this. But this is all a thing of the process. We all learning currently all that stuff. So I'm not afraid of AI at all, ever.
No, but I am afraid of the way that we are
It's
becoming
always humans,
dependent on it.
always
Um,
humans, always humans
yeah,
misuse a tool. It's
because it's
never
a
anybody
choice.
else the point.
No, but within this parameter, we stop expressing our creativity because we think that this linear system can do it better. And I use it, I mean, as a tool.
Yeah.
And often it takes out the emotionality that I feel when something's really close
Yeah.
to my heart. I can influence my my language becomes emotional, and so for me, it can be a good way to almost distance myself from the expression, in a way that other people can.
Your consciousness, your consciousness allows your body and mind to express itself. So your body and mind filters through your consciousness, your passion, where your passion and love comes from, and it filters the mind, and the body filters that through. And obviously you cannot do it because you're one-on-one. You feel something different than I do.
Yeah,
So obviously that's hard to do for you know uh, for how do I say that? It's for AI, because it's a mixture of you and me. It's
mm,
a mixture of you and me. We said that before. You and me mixed, AI would probably be better than you and I can mix each other first.
yeah,
But then we have to, like you see in the podcast.
yeah,
Now we have like 53 episode or something. So
mm,
when you talk to each other, then you find AI can never do that. But at the beginning, it could, if it takes all my stuff and all your stuff, mixes together, and create faster than we. But
mm,
then the depth, the quality, the quality of the one expression between you and me is much better. Now,
yeah.
as a AI doesn't
Because
need
it
time.
evolves, because because we can adapt, and this
Yeah,
is something that came up recently in a conversation in creating maybe not systems, in creating new systems. Yeah.
yeah,
um
yeah,
it We have to be open to adapting them on a constant level, because if we keep them, it's going to be too difficult
stagnant,
to change it. If
Stag-
it's just too much, too much money, too much time, so we keep it the same, and it becomes outdated.
death,
All
death,
systems are
death and
outdated, so
war,
they
death
have
and
to be
war,
updated. Yeah.
death and war. It's always humans are getting hurt, and then war. It's always and it was interesting in the conversation that it says the fiat currency, that always we want to always make more. The
Mm.
fiat currency that isn't, a dollar is not a dollar, a pound is not a pound, because there is nothing covered. There's nothing finite covered within like what we are. We need our finite stuff because we are 101 and we have only so much time and energy. And that's not there because it's endless. You can just print more. I can print more Michaell and Michaell. I can print them more,
Yeah.
more and more. I can copy them. AI copy them.
Yeah. But there's no value in those Michaell and Michaels, though.
Yeah,
Because there's
zero.
Yeah.
And there's no what is in fiat money. Fiat money is actually, they say, war and fiat money and debt are all. It's a codependency. So
Yeah.
fiat, when you do fiat, you devalue, then you get great debt. You put humans down, and then you have war.
Yeah.
So you need war to reset the system as well as the humans. But the humans never learn anything because it's a constant lack. It's always lack.
Yeah.
When you copy a value, this is very interesting. When you copy a value, when you copy us, for example, we get less worth. We're not getting more worth. So it would be, in the art, I never made lithographs or anything. Never. Because I mean, I did almost 3,000 paintings, and I did never, ever do a copy. And 3,000 is not a lot. People say, "Oh my God, it's a lot." No. Picasso did 35,000.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, we are limitless. We can create 35,000 paintings. If we don't look that this is a perfect painting. See, if they would look at Picasso stuff, and that he wouldn't have the support of his patrons or something, they would say, "Hey, that's why do you see art in this? This is square faces and all this stuff. Why are you seeing art in it?"
Yeah, but the not value, value is attached to the limitlessness, to the limited editionness of things, because you are a limited edition, and so am I. We
demand
are
and supply. Demand and supply is the systemic value of our 101. It's we are the 101, and every human should be embraced because it's another 101 that is in your reality. You don't have to kiss him, you don't have to hug him, but see that this is another human being that is on this playground called heaven on earth.
Ooh, playground. We also kind of touched on this dream. And in this dream that could be real, we have the ability to create, so we can input what we feel to be of value into our dream, and create in that way.
We allow it through. How can you determine that from your new book that you created? Show the book. Yeah. From the new book that you're getting. How would you say, Michaell, how much did you do, your brain, or how much did yourself do? It'll just let it through. So if you can tell me that and prove it to me, that's why we say, no, I don't create the 3,000 paintings that just came through me. And whatever I get in this talk, it comes through us. It's not like you and I are encapsulated bodies and brains that talk to each other. No, that doesn't. You have to prove that to me. Not to prove not, but you have to prove that it is. Because if you say something, it's, the ego stuff. Oh, it's all me. I did it. I need to get the praise. I need to get paid. I need to get whatever. It's never. Also, it's not a linear function. You need to get paid. That's not a linear function.
No.
You are paid by the money. Is this another vibration that's attracted to your, what you express?
Well, as an energy exchange. But because we've been conditioned to see it as a indication of our value, or our validation, it creates this scarcity kind of lack thing, which I think then we create more scarcity and lack, because that's what we focus on. And as soon as, I mean, I think this is maybe a life journey, but to let go of all the conditionings and all the kind of embracing all the unlearnings, is an interesting aspect. And I just want to mention, so the book was not really like, I didn't write a book quickly. It's really spaces, and I think we need more spaces in our lives where there are no lines or boxes or what you're supposed to do in it, whether you can draw or, I don't know, doodle or write or create a song or whatever it is, just to have more spaces of freedom where there isn't a agenda, or there isn't a, okay, what am I going to show for this time? What am I going to accomplish? And I think this is what we also do in our little half an hour spaces. We get to explore.
We are not organized in that space. We are not saying, okay, I have to do 5 steps, tell Michelle, and Michelle gives me 5 answers. And then we do this, and then we have to check the sounds, and you need to do, I mean, all this stuff, I think if you want quality, and quality I see more and more, is the growth. Because when you can create a radio in the old times, and now or an old phone, and now you have a phone as a computer, but it's just too much, it's just overloaded. The quality, always when you create some quality, it can only be created by space and time. It cannot be created by, so if I want to do a better painting or something that expresses, I said, I want to sit down and do a painting that is 100% me. I really look at that. But even if you force it, it doesn't work. So you need to look at that painting with space and time, and hear the painting, see the painting, smell the painting, and then go deep and say, oh, I can do a green little thing here, I could do this. And you do it in writing too. I re-listen. I listen to podcasts, re-listen to it 3 or 4 times sometimes, or to books. I listen because we are dyslexic monkeys. So I'm re-listening to the stuff, because I get always more. I think I listened to that one book of Eckhart Tolle, Being in the Now, I think 30 times.
Yeah, me too, actually. Yeah.
And I keep listening and always hear something new. So when you do writing that is multidimensional, I think that's multidimensional writing, because you just, the first dimension, layer, second layer, third layer. Oh, now, so you also can bring it all together, so you see the context and the content, at the same time.
Yeah. And it's like a spiral, isn't it?
Yeah.
So whether we see it as layers or spirals, we come back, but it might be in the same area, but it's at a different level, because both us and what we are absorbing is different, because we are different. And that's the beauty of humans, because we adapt constantly. Like, we're different than I was an hour ago or 5 minutes ago.
Second
ago, yeah, because we are assimilating now. Is that the right word? Maybe.
Yeah, assimilating.
From our environment, from each other, all of these things makes us more of who we are in this moment. Yeah.
But you're so right. I think we need time and we need space. We can't, I was never, there's so many artists that said, oh, when in screenwriting, I did screenwriting and stuff. I wrote a screenplay too. And then they said, oh my God, I'm so afraid to start a new screenplay. I said, I can't look at the white pages. I can't, or painters, they say, oh my God, I'm scared of the white canvas. And I'm never scared. I've not in any rate, holding back something. To think. I just look at that and say, what can I do?
Yeah. Do you have your dog friend again today?
Yeah, no,
It's a different dog that way.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
And that's connected to that element of perfection, though. You know, even I think you were telling me I was last week. I was, publishing this little journal through Amazon
yeah,
KDP, and it's so difficult always, to let it out there because there are mistakes in it. But at the same time, those mistakes are part of the
yeah,
thing.
and also you do second edition. That's why you always do second, third, fourth edition,
Yeah, yeah.
which I haven't done. Which is again, it's time and space thing. I wrote the book. It was for me. It's more important to write the book than sell the book. I mean,
Mm.
I want to sell it, but it's more important than I wrote 8 books and published 5. So
Yeah,
I and on KDB,
yeah,
which is
yeah. Which is, yeah, it's an interesting thing
yeah.
because we can play. It does give us the ability to put it out there. What happens from there
It's
is,
successful. Like Rick Rubin says that the
yeah,
moment you give it out, you're successful. The
mm,
moment you sell it, it's successful. Even if it sells nothing, you're successful because you did it. But look at how much it gives you. There's another thing you created. It gives you self-esteem. It
mm,
reflects more on yourself. It says, and when you look at it, wait when you look in a year at it.
yeah,
It's just, oh my God, I did that. I did that then. Wow.
yeah,
I'm never disappointed what I did a year ago, 10 years ago. Never. I'm never disappointed. Oh, I could have done that better. I never think that. Never.
yeah,
I thought, I can't believe how good it was 10 years ago.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
See,
when I
I
look at
I
my
do
old
catch
paintings, I
myself.
said, because the ego is out, the
Mm,
ego doesn't affect you anymore. And all of a sudden you look at it like fresh eyes, it's like somebody
yeah,
else painted it, somebody else wrote that.
yeah. Well, it's so before we make this into something that it's not. This is literally something that I'm going to be doing 4 times a year now. So it's just what's happening in the wisdom seekers, kind of the elements and the chakras and the whatever. And then there's a page for every day that's got where the moon is, obviously, a quote and a kind of a mantra. So I'm connecting kind of silence and earth and all those elements,
To
and
give us a context of experiencing.
yeah,
Context of experience, yeah,
if you want, you know what I mean. And
and
then
there
there's
is a
space.
monkey hidden in there, and
Yes, and then there's a little practice. So kind of go stand in the garden barefoot, I think is a couple in there, that kind of
yeah,
thing. And then an astrological event that could kind of put some context maybe on what you're experiencing or not. And
yeah.
then space to play around within that. So it's really for the wisdom seekers, but it's also tying in these elements that I'm having fun playing with, that
Mm.
is, um, as we're going into the art of mastery, it's the earth element, it's the altar major chakra and the third eye and the crown, and it's pulling it all together. So from
I
the
mean,
top,
that's what it says. It doesn't mean for you that that is effective, but it's what
exactly.
it's what over years and generations we have got that wisdom.
Yeah,
It's that chakra is this and
yeah.
this,
It's an
and
option
see if
of something to experience
yeah,
your way.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's why I said experience journal.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
an
exactly.
experience journal for you,
Yeah,
and also to go back and say, hey, I did this 3 years ago. How was 19 whatever
yeah,
1955? What was going on there?
yeah,
And
exactly.
you can look at it, and it's not like you have to write freehand and just write something,
Yeah.
because sometimes journalists people have with the creativity, people have a problem in journaling. They don't know it's for them. They think that the teacher's coming and say, oh, there was a mistake in there.
Yeah, no, you can't. So, yeah, exactly. So, this is something to come back to and say, oh, I experienced these,
Yeah.
whatever, or I drew this picture, or I doodled this image on the 4th of July in 2025. And maybe jogs a memory or brings back,
Yeah.
integrates. you back into. I want to tell you about this really cool thing though that's come up when I did this. Um, a friend of mine has a friend who does this calendar. His name's called James Tantum, and he writes down something every single day that happens, whether it is he watched a movie or he had toast for breakfast or whatever. And then he creates a calendar for every year. So the James Tantum calendar, I've got one. Every day's got some random thing that happened in his life or his grandparents' life that just, it's so human. It's just so, it doesn't matter to any system or any,
Yeah.
you
It's
know,
outside of the
there's
system.
no,
It's outside of the box.
it's completely outside of the
It's what
box.
is. It's
There's,
what is.
yeah, there's pictures of all the trousers or pants in his cupboard, just randomly. Or these are all the movies I watched in 1998. It's got such simple beauty to it. I absolutely love it. And I think this is part of kind of like, where do we create a space where there isn't, you don't have to now write your dreams in this book, or you don't have to write
Yeah. Gratitude journal.
or
Gratitude. Oh my God. When I hear that, I gotta get. So, but I have to write when I gratitude. I love journal. I have to write down when I feel love.
yeah,
I'm so depleted of love that I have write it down all the time.
yeah.
I mean, it's
Or
rather
that you
shaming
only
me.
have to do it there. You can do it anywhere. You can write it on the wall
Yeah.
if you want to, or if you
Yeah.
need to. It's funny how easily we make rules for ourselves, though. Even
Yeah.
the people that
Yeah. It's systemic.
profess to be so free often have to catch themselves and go, hang on, there is no such rule. I
The
can,
thing with freedom is, the thing with freedom is that you always think you have to get it outside, and you are free. You
yeah,
are free. I think even if you're incarcerated and everything, you are free. If you can't see that you're not free, you never get more of that freedom.
yeah,
You,
yeah,
yeah, your freedom is like your abundance. Your freedom, your home is not blooming right now, but it doesn't mean you don't have it.
yeah,
I feel like I have a great home. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
it just not experiencing it right now, but what it is, what it is.
yeah. It's difficult, though, isn't it? It's not just, I mean,
It
you
was
kind of,
difficult. It wasn't not as difficult anymore because
yeah,
that's what you learn. That's what you learn. You learn to live with this, adapt, and you
adapt.
learn to see the context of it. And for example, I tinkered around with Bitcoin
Yeah,
last week. I didn't told you, and I
yeah,
lost the 200. I lost $200, and that's a lot for me. Yeah,
yeah,
I lost it, but I played the whole week, and I learned so much about it that actually I sent you it
yeah,
attracted that podcast to me, and then I sent you the podcast,
yeah,
and and which we want to talk. This is about the human, because we are both interested in transforming the human value, the human worth into a system relevant value. How
mm,
to do it, what the best way is, because we want to do it for ourselves too.
yeah,
So we want to understand it. We
yeah,
don't want to solve it for every person, but we want
yeah,
to understand it. You know, how can I get my value? You know,
yeah. Well, yeah, we want to experience it as well,
yeah,
because a lot of what we experience is failure in a system from a systemic point of
yeah,
view,
yeah,
because there isn't the tick
yeah.
boxes,
But it wasn't a failure for me. That week was a lot of work,
Yeah,
uh, but a lot of trading, a lot of dealing, and I learned tremendous. I mean,
yeah,
I mean, that was the best $200 spent for a while.
yeah. School fees.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah,
and then I can help also. I can give it to you, and
yeah.
and I
Well, you
wrote all the
share
stuff down.
experience. That's where
Yeah,
wisdom comes from, isn't it? Not
yeah,
through, you could have read an article which would
yeah.
have
Or a
saved you
book.
$200
Yeah,
maybe, but you wouldn't have experienced or understood it from the level that you are now.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm not afraid anymore. Before I was afraid. I didn't understand it.
yeah,
Us dyslexics, we don't know. When we don't know something, it's frightened. I mean,
Scary. Yeah.
it's yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's overwhelming. So when you kind of jump in,
Yeah.
you're in it and you can experience and understand it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Welcome to the heaven on earth.
Welcome on Heaven on Earth. Yes. We are moving into the Art of Mastery season tomorrow. So
Yeah,
we'll
you
be,
just need to listen to our things, then you see how we become masters. We
yeah,
became masters. Yeah.
mastering ourselves. That
Yeah.
is the biggest journey, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what was written
Yeah.
about the Temple of Delphi was know
Yeah.
thyself. It's the only
It
thing
still
there.
it still works. One sentence still works.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard to interpret it. Like that it's very focused. I love the self. Because know thyself, because you can't. They always use love in different ways, and so that's not loving. That's not caring. That's not gratitude. That all gratitude channel where we talk,
Yeah.
and you cannot know thyself cannot be altered much from
No.
language.
No. There's not much interpretation there because
Yeah.
to know is to know.
Yeah.
And it's an evolving thing because
Yeah.
we evolve. So that
Yeah.
knowingness and the
And it
evolve.
goes into beingness. It goes first, so the lowest form of knowledge, of intelligence, knowing,
Yeah.
awareness, being, and then wisdom.
Yeah.
More people being.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Through
Perfect ending.
experience and school fees, lots of school
Yeah.
fees.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.